Okay, so we are here in the French countryside with my grandparents. And so this is my lesson on how to survive in a European metro station. So here, I'm putting the computer next to the two of them.
Can you?
So everybody can see me clearly, I hope.
Are you on screen?
I am on screen, so. Okie dokie. So, I have had the privilege of traveling extensively in Europe. I've been to 4 countries recently: Spain, France, England, and Germany, or in Switzerland, I beg your pardon. And I've gotten to take the metro in all of these areas. And I've had really good experiences and I've had really, really bad experiences where people got robbed, where trains broke down, where I didn't know where I was, got disoriented. So I find that when I travel, it's good to have some basic tenets to follow in order to make sure that your trip, your destination, your overall experience goes well. And so these are tips to ensure success, whether you be a middle schooler dreaming of traveling one day or retirees planning your next trip. And so I have an acronym that I've created called PODS. And so PODS stands for preparation, orientation, destination, and security. And so I find that with these 4 tenets, they not only have ensured my past success, but they can ensure your future success in your traveling. So the first one, preparation. So I find that when you're going somewhere, it's good to have a bag that's well prepared. And so here I've got my sample bag, and the most important thing you can have in here is a map. And so here's a sample map of Barcelona, where I was living for 2 months. And so you have here the map of the city, so you can see all the streets and everything. And then on the other side, you have a metro map. And I find that it's good to have the both either on the same map or in 2 separate maps, because metro maps are useless when you're walking around on the streets, but the street map is not particularly helpful when you're trying to get from one metro station to another. So having both of those, also color-coded, is very helpful. The next thing in your bag that I would recommend having is a snack. So I have an apple here. And I find I get really stressed out. My sugar levels rise, my sugar levels go down, and sometimes I wind up in places crying because I didn't show up at the right time or the right place. So having a snack to balance out your emotions, to keep you well fed, to keep you happy, is very important. And I find fruit is very ideal for that. And lastly, it depends on how long your trip is, but having something to read. Oftentimes, cities hand out free newspapers. They're little things that resume the newspapers of the day, the news stories of the day. And if you can practice your language skills that way. You could just look at the pictures. It's really interesting. It helps you get sort of in the flow of that city, even if you're there for only a couple days. And okay, so that was preparation. So having a map, a snack, and reading material. And then orientation, so asking for help. I find that even if you don't speak a word of the local language, being able to ask for help or at least the small phrase of formality in that country or in that city it makes a big difference to people when you ask them. So for example, in Barcelona, if you say "si us plau," which is Catalan, people are all of a sudden like, "What? They talk to me in my language?" So, and people are a lot more helpful, they're a lot more friendly. And for example, in France, it's "s'il vous plaît." In Germany, it's "bitte." And so that, even if you ask the rest of the question in English, that little thing it's like, oh, this person makes an effort for me. It's really nice. And also another thing about orientation is there's oftentimes lines are colored and numbered. So for me, getting to school every day in Barcelona, it was line 1, which was red, and then line 3, which was green. So it was red, green. And that helped me sort of remember every single day, like, this is where I need to go, this is how I get there. And that, for me, it was a really good memory cue. And then finally, knowing various words for danger or for warning in the different languages. For me, that helps me. If I see a sign that says, like, it has a rather scary illustration, I want to know, like, does that mean I'm going to fall? Does that mean that there's an accident up ahead? So knowing that helps me. That's orientation, so how to ask for help, color, number lines, and then various words for danger, warning, accident. So then the next one is destination. And so once you get to your station, where do you exit? Because in Barcelona, at least, there's often 3 or 4 exits, and they can be 3 or 4 blocks apart. So instead of winding up right next to where you want to go, you can wind up a ways away, completely disoriented. So knowing exit that I want to exit Juan Torres instead of Passage de Gracia, there's a difference. So, and then also which direction you want to go there, because sometimes in France at least things are so badly marked. And so knowing, okay, so I get out of this exit and then I want to go left. And that for me is just a little bit more reassuring because I can look around and be like, there's no markings on any of these signs. And so having to know which direction to go is easier. And then also how to get home. So let's say that you take the metro station to the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, and then you walk to the Tour Eiffel, and then you want to take it back. But that's a different metro station in Paris. So knowing which one to take is useful.
A long walk from Arc de Triomphe
No, it's about 45 minutes. It's reasonable. I don't know. I've done it, so I don't know about your walking skills. And then finally we have security, which I wouldn't display watches, nice jewelry, or if you have, I always wear my necklace, my Minnesota necklace, but I like to cover it up with a scarf, just because I don't want to invite trouble. Same with phones. Even if you have a pretty crappy phone, I've seen people's phones taken before, right out of their hands. So don't underestimate the really fast-handed people in the metro. Because there's thieves that are always watching you, like which pockets are open, whether you leave your backpack on your side. Like keep things, because it depends on the city that you're in. But I mean, in Barcelona, there was pickpockets everywhere. I mean, I lived for 2.5 months with my hand on my bag the whole time. Also, another important thing about security is knowing the emergency number. So in all of Europe, it's 112. In the United States, it's 911. And so knowing that, so that, let's say, for one day, 2 women had heart attacks right across from me in the metro station. And so everyone else called the number. But if I'd been the only one there, I would have had to call really fast. So knowing who to call, and then also that most emergency numbers speak English, which is a plus for us. It's not good if you're Hungarian, but... And then finally, there are fines for not paying your ticket, so pay your ticket, don't enter illegally. And also, in London at least, they fine you for putting your feet on the seats, so don't do that, because that's a pretty hefty fine. It's like 50p, no, 50 Q. So,
Pounds.
Yeah, 50 pounds. So,
Wow.
anyways, that is my lesson. It's preparation, orientation, destination, and security. And with those 4 principles, I wish you excellent travels. Thank you for listening.
Very good.